How's it going, guys? Rhino here, and we are going to be tackling yet another quiz. We did the quiz on, what was it? Shit, I can't even remember what the last quiz we did was, but we did it on this channel, and it was definitely how sexist are you? How sexist are you? That's right. This quiz, I guarantee you've heard of it, is how much of a feminist are you? Supposedly, these questions find out just how woke you really are. That way to sound stupid by using a word incorrectly. So it looks like we're going to go through about 40, was that 40 something? Why do you keep cutting off? A bunch of comments. 50 questions. So there's 50 question or descriptions that you go through and you check them, and it rates you on how much of a feminist you are. Now, here's the key thing to remember. Being a feminist is a choice. It's not just something you naturally are. There's nothing inherent about being a feminist. So saying, yes, I'm for equality of everybody does not mean I'm a feminist. Being a feminist is literally a choice. Now, the definition of feminism is about fighting for equality. That doesn't mean that everyone that fights for equality is a feminist. As well as there's a lot of issues about, the definition doesn't define the actual movement because it's the movement's actions that define it. But that's a whole different story. We're going to get right into this. So the point of this is saying that each of these is something that a feminist would be. So essentially 50 questions means that if you answer all 50, you're like the perfect feminist. So these are, in these people's terms, definitions of a feminist. These are things that apply to being a feminist. So we're going to tackle it from that perspective and just talk about how stupid this shit is. So check all that apply. Number one, I'd be willing to give up some of my salary if I had to so that equal pay in my workplace could be a reality. Equal pay in the workplace is already a reality. There is no gender wage gap, which is obviously what it's referring to here. But it makes it almost sound like everyone should be earning equally in the workplace, which is not the case because there's different positions and other different amounts of experience, different lengths at the company. So no, there's no reason that you should do that. And as a clear point, if the gender wage gap that feminists like to parrot, this fake wage gap, if it existed, giving up my salary would not be the fix to that issue. But there's no reason going down that rabbit hole because the wage gap does not exist. So no. I believe that men and women should be equal. True, but that has nothing to do with feminism. That has to do with the fact that we are people who think logically in the 21st century. That doesn't make me a feminist. And actually, I'm an egalitarian, so I'm for equality of all people. That is what I'm for. I can't help but be bothered when a song includes misogynistic lyrics, even when I otherwise like the song. Absolutely not. That doesn't bother me at all. It's just a song. Quit being little bitches. I know who Bell Hooks is. I don't know who Bell Hooks is. I can define intersectional feminism. Well, it depends on what you mean by that. Actually, I can define it either way. I can define it in reality, or I can define it how you guys want to define it. How you guys want to define it is essentially fighting for equality for all marginalized groups. That's what intersectional feminism is, as you guys say it. But in reality, it's feminism's attempt to expand, to hold a monopoly on equality so that if anyone were to fight against it at any point, then you can say they're standing against equality, they're fighting for supremacy, and basically shut them down with that argument. So yes, I can define intersectional feminism. I don't use the phrase, hey guys, when referring to a group of people that includes men and women. I can't fucking talk right now. I don't know why. No, because hey guys, I know sounds like a gendered term, but it's just a general general word that we use to describe a group of people. It doesn't matter what gender they are, and it's not in any way saying that the women should be men or that you wish they were men or something like that. That's just what we use. We use hey guys instead of hey girls. It would be weird if I said hey boys instead of that, but I use that phrase. I have taken a women's and or gender studies class. No, I am a logical thinker. I don't need to take this shit. Actually, I think I am taking one this next term, but it's because I needed a credit, or I needed a class to fill, and this was like one of the easier ones. So I think I'm going to be taking one, but I haven't so far. I think it's important to encourage girls to pursue science and math as a career. It's important to encourage anyone to pursue math and science as a career. So I don't know why you'd include women, but because that encompasses women as well, I'll check that. Women should be allowed to apply for a job if they fulfill 60% of the job requirements. Fuck no. I would say a minimum of 90% for anybody. It has nothing to do with gender. Minimum of 90% of the job requirements. Oh, well, although should be allowed to apply for a job. Women should be able to should be allowed to apply for any job they want, whether they're qualified or not. So, kind of tricky wording there. I'm going to leave it blank though. I think we should change women's bathroom symbols to not include traditionally feminine clothing. No, because number one, there's no need for quotes. There's actual feminine clothing based on our society's group-ish, objective-ish definition of feminine, and it's not offensive to women. You may take it offensively, but it's not as a whole offensive to women. So, no. I believe trans people should be allowed to use whichever bathroom they identify with. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I was kind of not wanting to talk about this topic and my stance on it. Personally, yes. I believe they should be able to because I know the science behind it supports that it is possible to have me be a male but have a woman or a female brain. And so I understand the plight that people who are trans have to deal with. And using the bathroom isn't as big of a deal as either side makes it out to be. I think both sides are fucking ridiculous on this issue, but I side more with I believe trans people should be able to use whichever bathroom they identify with. So yeah, once again, not a feminist issue. That's just an egalitarian, but not really, because that's not really a right. That's kind of an extra right to use whatever bathroom. Although it kind of I don't know. It's hard to explain. I believe it's important to encourage women to negotiate. It's important to encourage anybody to negotiate. Don't know why you're just saying women. I believe Jennifer Lawrence should earn as much as her male co-stars. Well, what co-stars of what movie? It depends on the movie. It depends on the budget. It depends on how much she's on screen and how much they're on screen. There's so many other factors that you can't just leave it that vague. So no. I do not think a movie should be released until it passes the Bechdel test. Okay, this test is a test that basically says that that you have to have at least two women in the movie who talk to each other about something other than a man. And there's some other requirements that can go into it, but that's the basic generic Bechdel quest. Bechdel. I don't know how to pronounce it. It is the fucking most retarded thing I've ever heard be suggested. So no movie should have to pass that. I believe all genders are entitled to the same social and political rights. No, I don't. Here's why. I only believe the real genders should be. But I'm going to check that because, in my opinion, all genders are male or female. I can explain why 78 cents to the dollar is not a fully accurate description of the gender wage gap. That's true. But that goes against what you said at the beginning, number one. So that's kind of confusing. I think they're trying to say something else there, but it's because it doesn't exist, because the wage gap doesn't exist. I believe that women who possess certain types of privilege are responsible for advocating for women who don't have their level of privilege. Absolutely not. Women and men, any human being is allowed to advocate or not advocate for whatever they want or choose. I personally have the privilege of being in a wealthy family. But that doesn't mean I need to advocate for those who are in poorer families. It has no such implications whatsoever. Not everyone is about advocacy for everybody, and some people just like to live their life, and that's me. That's some women. Yeah. If I had a daughter, I'd encourage her to be anything she wanted to be. Absolutely. Not a feminist issue. Once again, that's more of an egalitarian issue. Well, not issue. You can be whatever you want. I would make it clear to my daughter from an early age that her identity shouldn't be defined by her relationship status. Duh, no one fucking thinks that. No one thinks their entire identity is defined by their relationship status. Some people are sad, male or female, if they aren't in a relationship. That has nothing to do with sexism. I believe it's important to compliment a woman's intelligence over her looks. That's kind of a loaded question because it depends. What if There's an attractive woman who I know nothing of her intelligence. I would say I would check this box if it said I believe it's better to compliment a woman's intelligence over her looks, but I don't believe it's important to compliment a woman's intelligence over her looks because it differs on the scenario. I believe that a woman has the right to choose what happens to her body. Within reason, I am pro-abortion. I'm not pro-abortion. That fucking... People are going to cut that and say, oh, he's pro-abortion. No, I'm not pro-abortion. I'm pro-choice. Obviously with certain restrictions, of course. But I am pro-choice. However, there are certain things that a woman shouldn't be able to do with her body, like run naked through the streets. Not necessarily saying I have any opposition to that. Well, it depends on the woman. But, no. I believe that a woman has the right to choose what happens to her body. In an instance of sexual assault against a female, I'm inclined to believe the assaulted person is telling the truth until proven otherwise. Ooh, that's tough. Because when it comes to my personal belief, I don't know. I don't really. I'm not inclined either way. It kind of depends on the situation. When it comes to actually prosecuting the person, absolutely not. They are innocent until proven guilty. They need the person who is the supposed victim absolutely has 100% burden of proof on them to prove that the other person is guilty. That's 100% on them. But am I personally inclined? I have been told about sexual assault, and I typically believed the person when they told me. But that doesn't mean that I thought the other person should automatically go to jail. They still needed to prove that. I'm going to check it because it says I'm inclined to believe the assaulted person. No, I'm not, because it depends. It depends too much on the situation. There are girls who absolutely have given false rape accusations, and I'm not inclined to believe them. It depends on the situation, though. Sometimes that's a kind of... Picture that as a half check mark. I can explain... No. I know what a bad feminist is. Yeah, I mean, I think anybody does. It's a feminist who's not actually for equality. It's a feminist... It's like a feminist who makes a quiz like this, who complains about wage gaps that don't exist, complains about bathroom signs having feminine figures on them. That's a bad feminist. A good feminist is someone who actually advocates for equality and doesn't care about bullshit things like that. I believe that women should be able to dress however they want without it dictating how they're treated by society. No. And here's why. I substitute this word with people and don't. I don't believe that people should be able to dress however they want without dictating how they're treated by society. Here's why. You are able to be judged by anybody in society however they want, because there's something called freedom of speech and freedom of thought. You can think and judge people how you want, and that will continue to happen no matter what feminists want and desire. People will always judge other people, and it doesn't matter. If you dress a certain way, yes, you can be judged for that. I fully support someone's right to judge you for that, and I'm not saying I don't believe they should be able to dress. Well, you can dress however you want, absolutely, but be willing to face the consequences or the judgment of dressing like that. I've never said a woman asked for it. Duh. No one fucking says that. I'm offended by catcalling. That has nothing to do with feminism either. That has to do with the fact that some men decide to catcall, and some women either like it or don't like it. Big fucking whoop. There's no oppression there. You should not be offended by such a thing. I don't think women should get VIP treatment at nightclubs and bars just for being women. Are you fucking kidding me? Number one, no one gives them VIP treatment. VIP treatment is entirely different than just being let into all nightclubs and bars to help with the ratio. Fuck you. That's a stupid-ass question. I think police brutality and its correlation with race is a feminist issue. Absolutely not. It's a race issue, but not really, because all races are affected by it. So this question is just flawed all around. I think we should stop promoting models as the ideal female body type. Nope, because I mean, not always. There are some models who starve themselves or have bulimia, where you eat and then you make yourself throw up. So not the ones with eating disorders, but the ones who actually genuinely take care of themselves. Yes, they should be role models for all women, because they are what it looks like to take care of your body. Not necessarily that you need to starve yourself or anything, but you need to eat healthy, you need to exercise, you need to make sure you're not a fat fucking lard ass who's going to die of a heart attack when you're 35 years old. So, yeah. We can keep promoting them. I think we should stop photoshopping women's bodies in the media. Depends on what you mean. If we Photoshop them to be funny, I'm going to click that. If we Photoshop them to be funny, that can continue. But to make them hotter or like to make their face more perfect, that creates unrealistic expectations in us men. And so, yeah. I've never called a woman bossy. I have, but I've also called a man bossy too. Bossy is not a gendered word. It can be either gender, and I have used it for both genders. I think companies should offer more child-friendly time and programs to women who are having children. As a whole, yes. The company I work for is great about this. With like maternity leave and paternity leave, they're amazing. But there's no mandate about it. So I think I'm going to check it, but I mean more that women or that companies, there should be a law. Like the government should do a better job, not the companies like doing it. Supposedly, most companies do it anyway, so it's not a huge deal, but yeah, I'm going to leave that checked. I believe that a woman should be offered the same opportunities for promotion as her male coworkers. Guess what? They already are. So, yeah. Well, not necessarily the same. Here's why. I mean, because it depends on the situation. Once again, gender is not an issue here. There is no discrimination in promotions for women at all. It's based on the fact that, number one, the majority of people in business are men. Not overwhelming majority, but the majority are. So it shouldn't be 50-50. And some men are more qualified than some women. Some women are more qualified than some men. And a woman who's more qualified should get more opportunities than her male counterpart. It shouldn't be based on gender at all. There's a fly buzzing around that's been in some of my videos. I believe that if a woman wants to pay on a date, her date should let her. Absolutely. A woman should be able to do whatever she wants there. I believe that women should have easy access to birth control, and they do. Planned Parenthood. It's a great way to get easy birth control, and I fully support Planned Parenthood. I believe that in a relationship, the domestic duties should be shared. Domestic duties? Domestic. I'm kind of a moron. I don't know what domestic duties are. Domestic duties. Hold on, I'm going to Google it real quick. Domestic. I have a second monitor. One of or involving the home or family. Oh, of course. We already do that. My parents shared the domestic duties, not equally because my dad worked full time and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So my mom did most of it because she spent most of her time at home. So it was easier for her. But my dad did his fair share considering he worked full time and, was the breadwinner. But if that's flipped, then obviously the same would be flipped. It shouldn't matter. I think that a couple should have equal responsibility over aesthetic and cleanliness of their home. No. Well, yeah, yes, but no. Here's why. For example, me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend is a lot more clean than I am. And so if she wants something cleaned up, she should clean it up, not me. Unless it's like absolutely ridiculous. But if she thinks that something should be a certain amount of cleanliness and I think it should be a little less cleanly or doesn't need to be as clean, then she should be the one who takes that up. And she does. She's perfectly fine doing that. But that's what I'm talking about here. It doesn't necessarily have to be equal. I believe that men should be encouraged to be involved. That men should be encouraged to be involved and make choices in the wedding planning process. Yes, but oftentimes women hijack that. And that's true. If you deny that, you're denying reality. I believe that men and women have the same emotional strength. No, they do not. Part of masculinity is not learning to hide or suppress your emotions, but learning to control your emotions. And this is something I'm going to make a video about this, about toxic masculinity at some point, or respond to a video about toxic masculinity. But men are not taught to hide or suppress their emotions. They're taught to control their emotions. For example, if I'm upset with my girlfriend for something, what I do is, instead of telling her and laying into her about being upset with her, I take a step back and I evaluate why I'm upset or angry with her. Take a step back, think about it. Should I be angry in this situation? Should I be upset in this situation? If the answer is no, then I drop it. Even though I was angry and upset, I just say I shouldn't be angry and upset, calm myself down. I'm not suppressing it. I'm not pushing it down. I'm just calming down, focusing on something else so I don't have that anger. But women are not taught this. The typical femininity is not. And also women are more emotional because of hormone imbalances, specifically more often due to like around their period and stuff like that. That's a biological fact. It has nothing to do with sexism. I do not think that it's the responsibility of a man to protect a woman physically. It depends on the situation. Fuck you. That's a terrible question. I believe that men and women should be equally encouraged to express their emotions. No. I believe men and women should be equally allowed to express their emotions if they so choose, but they shouldn't be encouraged. We shouldn't encourage people to express their emotions equally, because we should just allow it. There's a difference there. No. I've never asked a woman why she does not have children. I don't hang out with very many women or men. I'm only 20. So I've never asked that. I would be equally excited to have a son or a daughter. No. But this has nothing to do with sexism. This has to do with the fact that I really look forward to having a son to play baseball with. I mean, yes, I'd love to have a daughter, and that'd be cool, and maybe I could play softball, but baseball is like my love and passion. I played baseball in basically my entire life, and I want to share that with my son as part of tradition. So no. I would love a daughter, but I'd love a son more, and at least one son. I mean, I want to have 2 kids, and I'd love for one to be a son, one to be a daughter. I think American workplace culture is often not structured in a way that is helpful or encouraging to women succeeding. No, American workplace culture is actually biased against men currently. Women are now stacked towards getting more promotions, getting hired more, and shit because of the supposed equality feminist movement that has stacked it against men now. And so it is an environment that is helpful to women succeeding more so than men. So no. I think women have a responsibility to help and encourage other women to pursue their goals. Nope. You're not responsible for that. You're responsible for yourself. Deal with yourself. I think women are equally capable to men to be the president of the United States. Yes, but not Hillary Clinton. I'm probably also going to make a video on this topic too, but I'm not liberal. I'm not conservative. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm entirely independent. Don't identify with either side. I agree with the left on some issues. I agree with the right on some issues. I base every decision off of what I think is personally right, and I don't care which side is which. But that being said, I would love a woman president. I think it's time we have a woman president. I'm not going to vote for someone because they're a woman, but I'm excited for the time we get our first woman president. However, I don't want that to be Hillary Clinton because she's a fucking liar. She's a terrible candidate. Not saying Trump is better or worse. I'm not going to get into the whole topic of presidency, other than I want a first woman president, but I don't want it to be Hillary Clinton. I want it to be someone who is going to make a lasting impression and be a force for, hey, women are good presidents, not, hey, this woman's going to be fucking sketchy as hell. So, yeah. I believe that women have no responsibility to make a conscious effort to always be friendly and polite. You can be whatever you want. I mean, people are going to judge you if you're not friendly and polite, but you have no responsibility to be that. I've never criticized a woman for not wearing makeup or wearing too much makeup. I have. I've criticized my girlfriend, my mom, and all those, but as a joke. There's something called jokes. I believe a woman is a woman if that is what she calls herself, regardless of her physical attributes and makeup. Okay, So this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. The way I am with trans people is I don't care what you identify as. However, that doesn't make you actually that gender. We have biological sex and gender, which is essentially the same thing. There's a little difference to them, but your biological gender is what your chromosomes are. If you want to identify as a male and you have XX chromosomes, go ahead. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to fight you on it. That means absolutely nothing to me. But you're not actually a male. You are biologically a female identifying as a male. That's my opinion on it. However, I still think that, if you want to be called a he, I'm going to call you a he. I don't have any quarrel with that. But it should be. I'm not going to go into the whole transgender issue anymore. Maybe in another video. But I'm going to go with this. No, I'm not, because a woman is the adult version of XX chromosome. So, show me my results. You checked off 23 out of 25 on this list. You are pretty woke, and you definitely try and stay informed about what's going on in the world of feminism and how you can make it better. No? Well, that's another bullshit quiz. If you have any... thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. I want to know what you guys think about each of these... questions down below and what you thought of my responses. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. I already said that. And as always, have a nice day.